We have a couple free-to-play options right here that I do think that some people do see some value in, but I think they're missing the true value of these two, this dynamic duo. What's going on YouTube? Legend here once again. This time actually again with some more Honkai Star Rail. And I actually want to talk about two specific units, alright? Some free-to-play units that we get from the beginning of the game, March and MC. The reason why I want to talk about these two is because we have a lot of options coming our way between 1.1 and 1.2. We got Luocha, Silverwolf, Yukong, Kafka, Blade, Luca, you know, all these different people coming our way. Is that his name, Luca? Let's just go with that. We got a lot of people coming our way, and we have some decisions to make. And, you know, I do talk about a couple of the options that we do have in a previous video that I did make, so go check that out if you want to see my individual thoughts on each unit that we have information on officially. I do want to kind of help ease this decision, because one of the things I did touch on in that video is how necessary Luocha is to add to your account. But the fact of the matter is, not everybody wants Luocha, and people might be like, I really want Silverwolf, but I need a second healer. What should I do? And I'm here to tell you that you do have options. Now, having a second healer should be priority, but again, this is a game and you should get who you want. So in order for you to be able to do that, you need to learn how to make do with what you do have if you don't have that second healer. I want to talk about March and MC, because I do think that they're slightly underestimated. People have been saying, yes, March is great, this and that, you know, Fire MC is great. But I feel like people don't truly know why. Because if you're like me, I heard people say that, but I didn't fully understand how valuable they were until I built them and saw them in action, right? Now, let's not get this twisted. I want to be straight with you up front, right? Having these two together on your team, two preservation units on your team, is going to be worse than having a very good healer and then another buffer or debuffer on the team to maximize the damage, all right? You know, it is ideal to have, you know, either two buffers or a buffer and a debuffer on the team. But the simple fact of the matter is, you know, sometimes you don't always have that option. And especially when you have another option that's completely free to play, you might as well use it, right? Because that defense you can have from having these two preservation units is going to be all the defense you do need to take place of a healer. And it actually does so good that it can get you pretty far into the end game if you have a sufficient damage dealer. Because for me, I got all the way to, let's say, floor 7 in Memory of Chaos, which to a lot at this point in the game in 1.0 is a good amount. I know if somebody sees this in the future, they might think floor 7, that's it, you know. But keep in mind, this is 1.0 right now we're talking about, and 7th floor is pretty far. And yeah, that's a lot to get right now, based on what we have and the limited resources we have to build all the different characters. You know, let me explain why this is so. Because when it comes to March and MC, March, she makes a very tough shield that can defend you against a lot of attacks that are coming your way. While MC makes some paper thin shields, but he makes some shields for the entire team nonetheless to help protect them from different splash damage and such, right? Or some weaker AoE attack. Now, the thing is, March's shield does have a slight taunt to it, a passive taunt to it. So whoever you put the shield on is more likely to get attacked, right? And MC has an actual taunt that taunts enemies. So with these two using their abilities, they will attract a lot of the damage that you do get altogether, right? So your damage dealer and whoever else you have on the team is much less likely to get attacked, to the point where you can defeat pretty difficult content and some hard-hitting bosses without having to worry about healing them. Also too, in terms of, you know, some of the content that we do get, you know, we get C6 March also, who does heal slightly, So with C6 March, since she does heal a bit slightly, that can help mitigate some of the things that you might have to worry about. Because if things get tough, sometimes you can just give, your shield to somebody else besides MC, and she'll just heal them slightly as the turns go on, and so on and so forth, right? And also, if you're still struggling with Sim Universe, if she does a lot of follow-up attacks, if anybody gets attacked, March will do her follow-up attack against them. And if you're using Elation on Simulator Universe and you're still struggling with that can also help you out too, with getting some more follow-up attacks off. I just want to show you here how to really build these guys up right here. Because right now, I have a level 60 March right now, right? She has day 1 of my new life, a light cone going on right now. So that gives her nice some defense and damage resistance to all allies, which is great, which is awesome, which is a very, very good light cone to have. I do prefer it over any of the 5-star light cones that we do have. When it came to her traces, I just kind of focused on her shield. In terms of her build, I got her with the defense set right here. So she gets defense, right? And even though the 4-piece doesn't do that much for us here, it does kind of make her shield a little bit stronger because it can absorb more damage, right? And then in terms of the different things I have on her, I mean, granted, I could always level up some of the things that she does have, maybe like I could level up the ring right here so she can deal at least some damage. But, we only have so many resources, right? But I'm making sure I'm getting some defense on her, right? Making sure I'm getting some defense on her, some effect resistance, in case she gets hit. Make sure I got defense on the body right here. If you don't have defense, which defense is easy to get, but if you don't have defense, there can always be effect rate that you can always get to. I got some speed on her right there to make sure she always gets her turn on the boot here. Give her some ice damage and some defense on the rope. I also have the effect hit rate 2-piece set on her for the sphere and the rope, mainly because what really also makes March pretty useful is that she can freeze like crazy. She can freeze enemies a lot. So having some effect hit rate on her is going to be helpful too. If you don't want to keep stacking more and more defense, or at least have some of the set bonuses helping you out. Yeah, so having some effect hit rate on her is going to be great, so she can freeze enemies, because she's pretty good at that. And that can get you out of the pinch right there, right? So that's kind of how I have her built right here. Now my MC, for him, it's a little bit different. You can do the defense set on him too. Probably the best thing you could possibly do is have 2-piece of guard of Weathering Snow set and 2-piece of the defense set. But I just have the 4-piece of this Weathering Snow set right here, because it just helps keep him alive, because it gives him those slight heals and a little bit of energy. And I kind of prefer that play style. Pretty much the same stats that I'm giving March right here: defense on the body, speed on the boot, respective element damage, and some defense on the rope, right? So I do prefer those. I mean, yeah, you can do energy regen on the ropes that a lot of people like to do, but I prefer to just stack some more defense on them, because granted, you're not going to have that many of the energy recharge stuff. You're probably going to want to have your buffers have that stat going on there. So I just give them the defense on the rope right there. So that's how I'm building them right there. Eidolons right now, my March is just C4, and then same thing with my MC. But yeah, so, oh yes, and then also for the light cone for MC, I do have the This Is Me going on right here. So that just gives them a little bit more damage, because they will deal some damage when they do their enhanced basic attack or burst. So there's that going on for them right there, with all the defense that I'm stacking on them, all right? So they have a decent amount of defense right here. These aren't even end game builds right now. When I have the artifacts leveled up, I'm sure their defense is gonna shoot up, and that's gonna be great and helpful right there. But yeah, so that's kind of how, when it comes to building them right there, and what kind of artifacts to use on them, and level up the traces and such. Now, one way to kind of help you out with when it comes to their rotations and how to really use them. Typically what I like to do, like, let's use my Genuine team, for example. With my Genuine team, I usually have Genuine, Ting Yun, March, and MC, right? In that order. I make sure I have my MC in the last slot right here, and then I have March right next to them. I make sure I have these two together on the end, because most damage is going to be going to my MC. So Ting Yun and Jin Yuan are safe and good to go, and most of the time they're not getting any damage. I have my Ting Yun going first because she's going to have the most speed. My Ting Yun go, both of my Jin Yuan. My Jin Yuan do his attacks, whether it's the burst, preferably the burst is up. Have them do that, so on and so forth. Have them all buffed up and good to go. After those two go, next I'll have either my March, or depending on how the speed is tuned there, typically I have my March go first, and I have my March do her E first, right? My March does her E, puts it on MC, right? So now the enemies are slightly taunted to MC, right? By then, you probably don't have any more skill points left. Then just do the basic enhanced attack with MC, right? As long as you have the idle on him, right? You do the advanced attack, basic attack on him, and then the rotation starts over, and you do your whatever you need to do with Jing Yuan and Ting Yun, and then from there your March is doing basic attacks, and you're taunting with MC. And unless you are sure that you are not going to get attacked, and for some reason, you're using your taunt on MC as much as you really can. Because the moment that you don't do that is when the enemy go ahead and looks to you and one-shots her, all right? So you want to keep that taunt up as much as possible, and you want to make sure you got that going on for you, all right? And typically, through most scenarios, that's going to protect you quite a bit. But yeah, those are just some tips on what I wanted to kind of give you guys in terms of how to use March and MC, how they are good, you know, how to build them, and so on and so forth. And hopefully that does help you out. Hopefully that helps lighten the load of the different options that you can choose. Because typically, a lot of everybody's going to tell you to get Luocha if you don't have the second healer, which is a good idea. But if you really want to just explore other options and Luocha is not who you really want to get, then you can explore this option right here of having these two protecting your other two teammates and going forward until it comes time for you to finally have a second healer that you can put in there. Let me know what you guys think. Was this helpful to you? Did this help you out? Is this help kind of lighten the load so you can choose more freely on which character that you want to get? You know, if you do like the content that I do give you, definitely subscribe to the channel. That definitely helps me out. I want to help out more people here, and I want to be more successful when it comes to covering both Genshin and Honkai here. So definitely hit the subscribe button to let me know how I'm doing here. All right, with that, I'll end it here. Legend out.